In an international world, I just saw an article go through on one of my feeds. It's the Nigerian customs working at doing the right thing against all odds. They could have easily just taken a bribe, I guess, or choose not to take a bribe once a week type thing. They just seized 21 luxury vehicles. Let me read you the list of them. Some of these names of cars don't always match up, but for the country you're from, they seized three Toyota Highlanders, Frontier in South Africa. And let me tell you a bit about the cars they've stole, which are totally unsuitable for Nigeria as a whole, or any of these African countries. Nigeria, Johannesburg, Lagos, Johannesburg, yeah, they've got some beautiful roads. South Africa's got beautiful roads. Though often between the beautiful roads and where people live, you need a four-wheel drive. But let's talk about these. A Lamborghini Huracan, Mercedes AMG GT, Rolls Royce, another Lamborghini, two Range Rovers, several G-Wagons, Range Rover Sports. It's really big business. A close friend of mine had professional armed bodyguards when he visited in South Africa to do conferences. He got hijacked. He owned Michael Schumacher's personal Mercedes 500 AMG, factory made for Michael Schumacher. He got hijacked in Brussels. And when they caught the car, it was in Romania. He didn't ever get it back. And when they found out where it was in Romania the next day. These international countries which hijack cars are just like that. And often the politicians are complicit. Cars get hijacked in Johannesburg, and the next day they've been sold off to a politician across the road in Zimbabwe or Madagascar. There was an anti-hijacking conference put on by the Johannesburg, by the South African government. And one of the politicians from north of South Africa was coming to the border, and he couldn't take his car over because it was stolen from South Africa. This is the problem with it. I'm going to post some of the views of from the cars all stolen and retrieved in Nigeria, in Lekki, Nigeria. These are, it's probably a publicity stunt. I have a lot of Ghanaian friends. They said you can buy any car for like half the value in Ghana. There's so many. Some of these cars have the person's personal possessions still in the car when people buy them in Ghana. So this 21 cars is just a brazen tip of the iceberg of what's there. Let me tell you how they steal them. There's two ways. Remote. When someone locks their cars remotely, always use the key to lock your car. They read the radio signal of it. Now, say that you lock it by using the key, and you go inside. I'm in the front of our flat. We have our keys by the front door. And many people do this. Some of these cars, all you need is to be able to be a meter or so from the key to read the chips inside the lock. So the guys who steal these cars can all do this while you're asleep in bed. Now, you say, Tom, well, I have a tracker on my car. This doesn't always work. You know, the air tags, they work. Though you put your air tag in your car under your seat and you know approximately where your car is. When they go off when it's stolen, it gets put into a container with 2 or 3 other cars. They get put onto a truck, taken to the harbour straight away. They get stacked into a stack of containers, 12 containers high. You tell the police, hey, my car is down at the port marshalling yard for all these containers. I can tell you which container it is in. Well, you can't. You can say which row of containers it's in. That means the police and the customs have to take down each one of those containers individually and see if your AirTag matches it. And they're not going to do it. They haven't got the resources to do it. So your car is often in Nigeria. It's often in Ghana. It's often Egypt. It's often Ethiopia. It's often a country where they can get the car in. Mozambique. You know, it only takes a bribe, or as they say, a cool drink, to get your car over the border when they get it registered. I've known personally hijacking gangs. How do I know hijacking gangs? Because I had a lot of friends who are police officers, and we used to party at Durban's Hilton Hotel. They used to have phenomenal Afro blues. And one of my friends who was a police officer, his wife worked with me, he said, here, see those 3 tables over there? They are hijacking gangs. 2 of them are from Claremont, he knew. Claremont is central CBD type area, and they're hijacking gangs. They're not. They also party. So it is a very complex problem. So have your insurance. Make sure your insurance is valid if you're going to drive one of these cars. Yeah, AirTag it. You might be able to stop it before it ends up in Romania, Lagos, Ghana, Ethiopia, you know, and find it absurd that they can't do anything really about it. Anyway, let me know what you do to protect your car. What do you do? I'm in New Zealand. Car theft is relatively minor at the moment, I believe. They steal cars in New Zealand for parts, sometimes, not very much. They used to steal Harley Davidson motorbikes for parts. Though South Africa, where I was just, it is a major industry and a problem. One of my friends, another police officer friend who I was with at that time, they stopped like 40 cars in a convoy going across into Zimbabwe. He stopped. And his brother, another police officer who was there at the same time, he was shot by police officers because he is stopping this sort of corruption. So it's a very complex problem in some of these countries. Put your comments in the comments. Tell me, what do you do to protect your car? Do you have a bar which you padlock down in front of it? Do you put a boot on one of your car wheels to stop it being taken? You know, the cheapest boot is only about $30, and that works the best. Do you have a tracking device? You know, that's very popular. You know, when you're in South Africa, you often see the helicopters flying over trying to stop a stolen car. Marshall, my son's school friend, got given a helicopter when he finished school, and his father also gave him a contract to chase these stolen cars by helicopter. You know, what do you do to stop your car being stolen? You know, here in Invercargill, where I live, people spend $100,000 making their hot rod. Now, you got $100,000 putting the Ettenbrock heads on, your blower on, a special suspension on your car for the drag racing. What do you do to stop that being stolen and stripped for parts? Put your comments down here. Do it anonymously if you want, I don't care. Because it is a serious problem. New Zealand parts. New Zealand, people steal cars for just burnout. Sorry, Fred, but don't do that. You're going to ruin your life. But what do you do? Put your comments down. How do you stop your car being stolen? You know, I don't think many cars from New Zealand go to Nigeria or Ghana or UAE. UAE is a great transit point for cars stolen from Japan. They get stolen from Japan, put on a container, put on a plane, end up in the UAE. And the UAE government, at one point of time, weren't returning them to Japan. What are you doing to stop your car being stolen in Hong Kong? They end up in mainland China. They end up in Mongolia. They end up in one of the Stani countries. What do you do to stop your car being stolen? Put it in the comments. It's funny, I talk to people here in New Zealand, which is a relatively crime-free country. And Kiwis don't understand what crime is. A lot of people out there do know it. Hey, have a nice day. Protect your stuff. You know, if you put a lot of effort into your car, you know, most of my cars I video are emotional to somebody. They're not just something you can insure. Some of them are very lemon-orientated cars, but the emotion of somebody. What do you do to protect your cars? Keep your stuff to yourself and get the greasy paws of others off. What do you do? Anyway, have a lovely day. It's New Zealand tropical weather, but it's heavy rain outside at the moment. Enjoy. Peace.